Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent, past, current energy, and immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius. We're going to start by looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. But first, we're going to start by looking at your recent past here. Let's look at what you guys have been dealing with. Overall energy for your recent past. I do want to mention that I've started posting a few general readings onto my TikTok and Instagram accounts every week. So I only do two zodiac sign readings per month on this channel. And if you're looking for just some guidance and support in between those readings, you can find that on my Instagram and TikTok accounts, and that information is below. All right, let's see what we've got here. Boundaries. Oh, Sagittarius is over it. I feel like you're in this place of protect my peace. I think that you're coming out of a period where it's just a lot of tumultuous energy, just a lot of up and down and left and right and back and forth, and just feeling like, not really, maybe even feeling like you can rely on people around you, experiencing relationships and burnout and just a lot. And I feel like this is definitely this energy of being really pushed to your limit, but to the extent, not pushed to your limit in the extent that you were weak and you should be able to handle more. Literally what I was just about to say, you have releasing. But to the extent where you started to kind of step into your power a little bit and move yourself away from situations and people that were really draining your energy. And even if you weren't doing this in a very direct manner, or like even if this hasn't happened yet, but this is the energy that you've been in, I feel like that a lot of what you've been going through has kind of been pushing you to your limit, like for a reason, where it's almost like, and this is what I've really learned, is sometimes things get bad enough for us to finally say enough is enough and start to make changes in our life. Even if we wish that, other people would change or other things would change, sometimes, we don't have, all the time, we don't have any control over that, right? So whenever we can't change something else, we're forced to change ourselves, and we're forced to show up different. So this feels like kind of, in some way getting to this like point where you were like, enough is enough, something's got to give, and really starting to set stronger boundaries, and not just with other people but with yourself too. Current energy here for Sagittarius. Seek healing. You've been doing a lot of healing, doing a lot of the work, kind of focusing on it just, again, it kind of feels like this energy of solitude, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're not surrounded by people, but you're just very much in this energy of protecting your peace. And you know what? I love this for you. You have synchronicity with accept help, and then you have celebration here. I feel like there's kind of this balance here though, right? Like, when we're protecting our peace, it is important to set boundaries, and it's important to make sure that you're not repeating old cycles and allowing toxic behavior. But we also don't want to isolate so much where we don't open ourselves up to the possibility of, connection or opportunity at all. And I'm not saying you are, but with this synchronicity card here, and the thing that really jumps out at me is the clock on this card. It kind of feels like divine timing is really at play, where it feels like you've kind of been prioritizing yourself, your mental health, your emotional health. And I feel like that's going to start to pay off. As we start to prioritize ourselves, we start to attract certain people and situations into our life that are going to do the same. So I do feel that you're still in this energy of healing. You're still in this energy of, working through a lot of the things that maybe came up in this past energy, but I do feel that things are close to shifting here. And I feel like you do have a lot of support and guidance around you too. All right. That's really weird. I didn't set an intention yet, but you have 2 different cards, and these are the only 2 cards in this deck. They both say the past, but look at how vastly different these energies are. Okay. Whenever we go through certain situations, we have this ability to approach it in one of 2 ways. We can allow what we've been through to define us and what's possible for us. Or we can take what we've been through, we can learn from it, heal from it, grow from it, and step into better. And I feel like you're kind of at this crossroads right now, Sagittarius, where, yeah, I do feel like you've kind of been pushed to your limit, and you're probably exhausted, and like I started the reading out by saying, you're probably over it. But I do feel that there is still a lot of potential that exists for you in your future. But the issue is right now, I feel like you're really seeing what's possible for you through the lens of your past. So you're looking at all of these situations, relationships that have fallen apart, heartbreak that has happened, failures, losses, obstacles, challenges, and you're saying, this is all that's possible for me because this is all that I've experienced. And one of the most wonderful things that I've learned is that what we've experienced is not a reflection of what's possible for us or what we're meant to experience for the rest of our life, but it's showing us what's needing to be healed, what's needing to be addressed, and how, these things can help us step into, more love and more faith and more power. And when we're willing to take that route, then we can look at our future from this place of more optimism, I guess, because we're going, I don't need to repeat these past experiences anymore because I've learned from them. I've grown from them. I'm not that person anymore. I don't make those choices anymore. Therefore, I can expect different outcomes. And I think that that's a lot of what this future energy is about, is not letting your past define you, not letting what you've been through be the limit of what is possible for you. So I do feel like this is, stepping into new opportunities, but needing to do so with trust in yourself, trust in your healing, trust in the version of you that you've become, because I do feel that there's still, it's like, I'm especially speaking to someone that has kind of felt like the best is behind them in some sort of way. Like, oh, it'll never be as good as it was, or, I had the opportunity and I messed it up, or, that was my chance, like, kind of thing. And I feel like Spirit's saying, no. First of all, I feel like all of this had to happen for a reason, to push you into the healing and the growth and all of the things that you're going through. But now, because of that and the transformation that took place, you're really aligning with the things that you do truly deserve. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot to this reading that will break down for sure, but I feel like it's good. I feel like there's a positive, kind of optimistic vibe. All right, overall theme of this for Sagittarius. This is Gabby Bernstein's Super Attractor deck. So it's kind of like an affirmation for you for this reading. So let's see what we've got for you. It's good to feel good. I feel like that's the thing, Sagittarius. I feel like it's been a while maybe since you've genuinely felt good. And what I mean by that is, feeling peaceful and feeling joyful and feeling excited about where you're headed. And when it's been a while since, and I'm not saying you don't have moments, okay? I'm not saying you've just been miserable and there's no, light at all. But I do feel that for a while you've kind of been living in the darkness. You've been living in kind of the other side of life. And this is, about stepping into this energy of, I deserve to feel good. I deserve to feel abundant. I deserve to be successful. I deserve to feel loved. I deserve to feel peace. I deserve to feel all of the things that I desire. And you absolutely do. And just because you've been through a lot of things that have been the opposite of those experiences doesn't mean that you don't still deserve this and that this isn't possible. This isn't possible for you, because I do feel like it absolutely is. But let's dive into this more. Let's look here, Sagittarius, at this recent past energy you have releasing with boundaries. So what has Sagittarius been going through here? Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It's just this energy of never really getting your payoff for all the work that you've put in, like accepting, or receiving very little for giving a hell of a lot. And this has been, and I felt this with the Oracle cards here, but this has been, I feel like, something that you've maybe even lived in your whole life, where, you had to show up with a lot in order to receive a little, a lot of love, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of compassion, a lot of understanding, just to receive a little bit of abundance or a little bit of love back or a little bit of effort. And it's been very imbalanced. There's very much an imbalance in your energy in the past. And I feel like you felt it and you've known it, but it kind of feels for a while that you got to this place of, this is just how it is. This is how it is. This is, I give a lot to receive little, and, such is life. But then I feel like something kind of led you to, and I said this again in the original reading, but to this breaking point where you kind of got to this place where you were like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I can't continue, to give so much of myself for so little in return. And that breaking point was very, very needed, because it's what kind of snapped you into your power. It snapped you into, maybe speaking up for yourself or being honest about your needs, or, and even if it didn't happen in like the prettiest way, like it might have been very messy, it might have been very aggressive is kind of the word that comes to mind. I'm not saying necessarily you were aggressive, but just like it might have happened in kind of a messy way. It did happen. Now, the energy that you've been in ever since is this Five of Swords, kind of this energy of I can't freaking trust anything. I can't trust anybody, no matter how hard I try. It's never enough. People never show up for me. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to try your hardest to see things from a different perspective. When what we receive from this world is a reflection of what we've been taught that we deserve. And when we've been taught that we deserve less, then we're going to accept less, or we're going to be in situations that reflect receiving less for the energy that we give. And learning to stand in our truth about what it is that we deserve, what's possible for us, what it is that we, what value it is that we do bring. When we stand in our truth and alignment with that, we change things, we don't necessarily change a situation, right? Not everybody is going to meet you where you deserve to be met, but we change the energy that we're living in, where we're no longer living in this energy of complacency, but we're living in this energy of having very high standards for what it is that we deserve in the life that we experience. And I think that sometimes we feel, maybe like it means that nothing's ever going to meet that. But that's part of the problem, right? We accept less than what we deserve, or we stay in places where we're not fulfilled or happy or aligned because we don't think anything better can come. So whenever, the universe kind of pushes us to our limit, it's not to punish us. It's to finally get us to say enough is enough. I am worthy and deserving of more. And I do feel like that really happened in this past energy. So current energy here for Sagittarius, you have synchronicity with seek healing. And that protecting your peace is going to get, because that's the thing, is like alignment is about being very discerning. It's about being so certain of what it is that you deserve that you say no to anything that isn't able to meet you where you deserve to be met. And that discernment is incredibly important, because that's where you start to make very intentional decisions with what you invest your time and your energy into. You're kind of at a okay. Here you are. Queen of Wands, Eight of Cups in reverse, Ace of Swords with the Two of Swords. You're at a crossroads here. You're at a crossroads. You can allow what you've been through and the ways that things haven't worked out to define you, or you can choose to move forward with the belief that better things lie ahead. And I say this as a choice because it is. It's a very conscious choice that's needing to be made, because I feel like right now, I actually feel like this Ace of Swords isn't, it's like, yeah, it's crossed. Okay. I feel like right now there's a lack of clarity around what it is that you're going through. Whenever we're going through certain situations, the first way we're going to view it is through the lens of our fear, our doubt, and our insecurity. We're going to look at it as a projection of what we believe our worth is. So when things don't work out, a lot of times we jump to the conclusion of, I am not worthy and deserving. It's not possible for me. I'm not supported and guided. And if we're not careful, that first reaction, that first way that we view the situations that we're dealing with, that becomes the reality that we create, because our perspective is going to essentially be the foundation for everything that we do, the words that we speak, the actions that we take. So right now, despite how you're feeling and despite how things look, it's not about ignoring and denying the situation that you're in, but it's about trusting to believe that everything is working out for your highest good, even if you can't see it yet. You are deserving of more. Sagittarius, you're deserving of love, you're deserving of abundance, and not only are you deserving of it, but you are here. That is your birthright to experience it. It is your right to experience all of the wonderful things that this world has to offer you. But, and this is a big but, we spend a lot of our time choosing and settling for less out of the fear that the things that we don't desire exist, or the things that we desire don't exist, out of the fear that we can't have it. And then when those things don't work out, because the universe is always moving us toward what we deserve and will not let us settle for less. So when those things don't work out, instead of saying, this is showing me how I need to make different choices and align more with what I deserve, we look at it as the universe doesn't have my back and doesn't want me to have the things that I desire. When in reality, the universe doesn't let you settle for less. It doesn't let you stay in situations that don't align with your worth or your value or your potential or what it is that you're here to bring. So I feel like there's a very different there's a need to look at things through a very different lens when it comes to what your future looks like. Because if you're looking at your future through this lens of nothing is possible for me and everything that I desire has never worked out, therefore nothing can ever happen, then you're probably going to create a reality that reflects that exact same truth back. And I see it in the comments all the time. And I don't say this to shame anybody, but someone will be like, well, why would I ever expect anything to be different if all I've experienced is all of these horrible things happening in my life? And I feel for people when they comment that, because I get it. I've been there. I've been in a place where everything sucked for so long that it just felt like things were always going to suck. But then I came across this understanding that we have the power to change our life, and we have the power to change our life by making decisions from this place of possibility, from the belief that we are supported and guided, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment, even if we don't fully understand it. So right now, being at this crossroads, I feel like it's so important that you choose the path that aligns with possibility, the path that aligns with believing that things are working out for your highest good, that there's better that awaits you. Because if you can choose that path, you're going to be able to open yourself up to to things being different, right? I feel like that's why healing is so incredibly important for you right now too, and trusting your healing is so important. Healing isn't just about what goes on up here. It's about the conscious decisions that we make to make different decisions from different places. So if something doesn't align with your worth, if something isn't valuing you or choosing you, instead of chasing it, instead of trying to make it be what you want, instead of accepting less because you're afraid nothing better is going to come along, be so rooted in your belief in possibility that you're able to say, I am going to say no to anything that doesn't align with me, because I know that the more that I say no to what isn't meant for me, the more I am actually saying yes to what is. And that's the truth. The biggest part of saying yes to the things that we desire is about learning to say no to what doesn't align with us. And what that means is not looking at what hasn't worked out through this lens of a victim mentality, but through this lens of, I'm being divinely protected from what isn't meant for me. And I'm open to learning and understanding why, I've been settling for less or accepting less, or why, things that haven't worked out for me to this point. If we always choose the path of being willing to grow and learn and evolve and heal, then things will always improve. But we have to choose that path. We can't choose the path of just repeating the past, because we're going to end up in the same situations. Okay, that was really important for somebody. I don't know who needed to hear that, but somebody really needed to hear that. What does Sagittarius need to know moving forward? Ten of Swords in reverse. This is like getting to this place of acceptance. I love seeing the Ten of Swords in reverse because it's kind of like this light at the end of the tunnel energy. And right now, Sagittarius, I feel like you're pretty deep in, feeling a little bit lost, in the dark of the tunnel. But the good news is, Page of Cups, you're being guided every single step of the way. And on the other side of all of this that you're going through, I feel like there's this need to understand that things are going to get better. There's a Six of Swords. Things are going to get better for you. And not just better, but like better than you've experienced in the past. And I think that, but it's up to you to choose the path of believing that that exists. And sometimes, and this is what I've always said, is that faith is not a feeling. It's an action. It's a form of embodiment where we don't say, oh, I feel 100% supported and guided. I feel like everything's working out for me. It's saying, despite how I feel and despite how things seem, I am going to make the conscious decision to take steps in alignment with the belief that things are working out for me. And with the belief that there is better ahead, with the belief that the universe is leading me to everything that I deserve and desire. When we can make that conscious decision, that is where our power lies. We give our power away when we let what has happened to us define us, when we let what we have been through define our future. If our true power isn't about controlling what happens to us, it's not about making certain things happen or, forcing certain outcomes. It's about trusting that every single thing that is happening is leading you closer to the life that you desire as long as you are willing to learn, heal, grow, and evolve. And continue ultimately to keep putting one foot in front of the other. So I feel like, first of all, if you're in a period of hurting a lot, especially from a past situation, know you're going to heal. You're going to heal from this. You're going to make it to the other side, okay? Not just from this place of, oh, that's what the cards say, but from the place of that is just how life works. Everything is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. If you choose the path of healing, you will heal. But remember, time doesn't heal all wounds. Healing heals all wounds. So a conscious decision to do the work, to feel what you need to feel, to work with a mental health professional if necessary, to really, jump and dive into that healing, you will make it to the other side. And I think that this light at the end of the tunnel that I really see in this future energy, it's not a reward as much as a this is where you've belonged all along. It's just that you've kind of taken detours to get there because sometimes we don't realize what we're truly deserving of until we're living in it. Which is why we accept less or why we stay in places we don't belong, because we're like, well, I don't know anything different. I don't know anything better. So sometimes we don't understand in the moment why certain things aren't working out, because for us, a lot of times we can go, but that's the best I've ever experienced. I can't see things getting better than that. So it's really hard for us. But this stepping into your power that you're doing, this, setting your boundaries and saying enough is enough, this energy is the start of it, okay? You've made the start of it by deciding you know what you deserve. Now, this is about continuing the process and committing to the life that you deserve as opposed to the life that you've been living. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended, dive deeper into all of this, ultimately looking at what you need to do right now to move forward in alignment with your higher self. I get this feeling this was a really important message for somebody, but before I end this video, I do want to make a quick announcement. Last Friday, September 19th, so I guess it would have been a week from today, or a week ago today, I hosted my Manifesting Financial Freedom Workshop, and it was wonderful. I had such a great time, great turnout, great feedback. But after the fact, I received quite a few messages, emails, and Instagram messages of people who were saying that they were interested in the workshop, but it had already taken place and I had already sent out the replay and everything. So I didn't plan on I didn't originally plan on doing this, but for a limited time, I am making access to the recording, the materials, the 28-day challenge that comes with it, the Facebook group that comes with it. I'm making this available for purchase on my website. So if you are interested in that, it is at the top of the description box below. Otherwise, thank you guys so much as always for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this resonated and helped you in a way that you were needing. And I'm wishing you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.